factoring by grouping. This slide is the steps I will be going over in the next slide, so you can pause to read this if you need. So this is the equation we're going to be using, and the first thing we do in factoring by grouping is section the equation off into two sections, and then we have to find the GCF. So in the first one, it is always good to use numbers that are visible, and in this case 4 goes into 20, so that would be the greatest common factor here. And since they both have variables and exponents, we can use that. And when we're dealing with exponents, it's good to use the number that is visible but the smaller ones. So the GCF here would be 4x squared. And then in this second section, we can see that 9 goes into 45. And both of these don't have a variable or squared, so we'll just be left with the coefficient. And now we see how many times that GCF goes into that. So 4x squared goes into 4x cubed once, so we are left with an x there. And 4x squared goes into negative 20x squared 5 times. So here we get x minus 5. And then this one, negative 9 goes into negative 9x 1 time, and that is with the x. And negative 9 goes into 45 5 times, so x minus 5. After we have these two parentheses, we need to get those GCFs and put those in front of the parentheses that came out. So 4x squared goes in front of this x minus 5, and negative 9 goes in front of x minus 5 too. In this slide are the next 3 steps we will be taking, and in the other side we had this at the end of it. So now what we do is, since we have 2 x minus 5s, we just need one of them, so we put it to the side. And now we have to put 4x squared minus 9 into another parenthesis, which were the GCFs. Now after this, we can leave x minus 5 and put that to the side, but 4x squared minus 9, 4 and 9 are both squared numbers. So 2 goes into 4 2 times, and 3 goes into 9 3 times. So we would have 2x minus 3 and 2x plus 3, because if we put those two together, it would equal 4x squared minus 9. Now after this, we just set all these to 0 in order to get our roots. And so now we just solve. So negative 5, we add 5 to both sides. Those cancel. We are left with x equals 5. Now for the next one, we add 3 to both sides. They cancel. We are left with 2x equals 3. Now we divide 2 on both sides. Those cancel, and we are left with x equals 3 over 2. And on this side, we subtract 3 on both sides. Those cancel. We're left with 2x equals negative 3. Now we divide by 2 on both sides. They cancel, and we're left with x equals negative 3 over 2. Now, these are the roots: 5, 3 over 2, and negative 3, 2. And now we are done. This is all the work together in case you need it. Some common mistakes. A common mistake people usually tend to make would be getting the GCF wrong the first time, and then it just ruins the whole thing, and you're just like, what do I do now? So make sure you get the GCF right the first time. And another common mistake would be people tend to ignore, like, when you have 2 perfect squares and they just leave it. But if you do that, then you won't get the roots that you need to have in order to get the problem right. Mistakes are important to make, although no one wants to make them, but everyone has to make mistakes in order to learn from them and grow. If you don't make mistakes, you won't grow. Some tips are to double check your negative and positive signs, because if the answer is negative and somewhere in the problem you messed up, you won't get that answer. You'll probably get a whole different number. And also, don't forget to double check that both parentheses in one of the first steps after your GCF are the same, because if they are not the same, then you did something wrong and you should go back to double check. And that is all. Bye.